stand beside her and guide her from the night. What? Call in. Like and subscribe. Pin message. Alright. Brother. Oh, brother. What's going on here? What's going on here, guys? Howdy there, partner. Okay. Oh, I need to delete some stuff from my hard drive real quick. How's it going? Oh. My politics. I was thinking about politics today. And I'm like, yeah, I really want to never do it again. You know? Thank you guys for liking the stream. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, mate. Let's see what I got. Alright, I got enough space, finally. I gotta buy a new hard drive, for real. Donate $18 for a new hard drive. For my Nintendo Switch 2. Which is now $200,000 because of the tariffs. Oh no. Why do you guys care about small businesses? I mean, the big businesses are gonna be okay with the tariffs. Like, come on, dude. The seashells are really science ignorance. Oh no. The ultimate DEI debate. Oh no, brother. On the down low, brother. Computer work. Why do you not compute what I need you to do? Here you go. Alright, brother. Charlie Kirk, the ultimate DEI debate. If you're watching this video, drop a like, subscribe, comment, okay? If you want to debate me, join the live stream sometime.
Angel Studios' newest family blockbuster.
Angel Studios.
The last rodeo, only in theaters.
Just for context, I am open to learning and being informed, but I do believe we have a disagreement when it comes to DEI.
She has a laptop, bro. He's cooked.
You think it stands for didn't earn it. Essentially that colleges are dropping the bar, but I think they're just opening the door. So for example, a recent Harvard analysis by Top Economics found that students from the wealthiest 1% of families are 13 times more likely to score in the 1300 plus range for the SAT than students from the poorest families. And I don't think that's because rich kids are 13 times smarter, but it's because they have access to better schools, private tutors, test prep, everything, right? And according to the University of California, they show that family background accounts for 40% of the variance in SAT/ACT scores among UC applicants.
Okay, her first mistake is citing facts and statistics because conservatives do not care about facts, okay? First mistake.
I would also like to mention that the diversity in society's leaders, the casual effects of admissions at highly selective private colleges.
But for real, honest criticism, she should learn how to say these ideas in a way that is not like reading the PowerPoint. You know, if you're like giving a presentation in front of a class or whatever, and you're like staring at the board, you're staring at the PowerPoint as you read off it word for word, you should learn how to have the information presented and tie the information and the data into your overall point and how you make it integrated into an actual conversation, because she just sounds robotic. She's reading off actual papers, actual studies. You need to have it in a way that can be communicated, because they're just hearing blah 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 big number blah 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 blah.
A study shown by the National Bureau of Economic Research that I think that if you think it's based on race, at times I think it's based on wealth. So legacy applicants, children of donors, and recruited athletes were significantly more likely to be admitted than other students with the same academic credentials. So yeah, elite schools like Harvard, legacy students are about 5 to 6 times more likely to be admitted than non-legacy students with similar SAT scores. Roughly 43% of white students admitted to Harvard from 2000 to 2015 fell into one of the 4 categories, right? Legacy, athletes, dean's interest list, or children of faculty or staff. 3/4 of these.
Okay, I'm getting bored. Not gonna lie, I'm getting bored. But really honest criticism, okay? Really honest criticism. Liberals do this all the time at school board meetings, at town meetings, town hall meetings, whatever it might be. Reading stats, reading numbers. You need to contextualize everything into a narrative, okay? What she's doing right now is not really helpful. I'm getting secondhand embarrassment. But again, she's not media trained. Charlie Kirk is media trained. He is 99% propaganda, 1% sly language, and she is like 99% reading off websites and probably 1% public speaking. So.
ALDC admits, 75%, would not have been admitted if evaluated only on academic credentials. My question is, I guess.
Credit to her. I feel bad. Okay, because Charlie Kirk, he's predatory in the way he does this. Obviously, you have all these screaming idiots behind you. You have him who's gonna lie about everyone and everything. And she is up here trying to make an actual point, trying to cite stats about the world, and she wants to talk about this conversation in a sober way that could be logic based, and also just you can connect different trend lines and like say, hey, this is why we do this and this is why we do that. We can disagree on the tactics, but we still have this overall goal. They don't care. Conservatives want to destroy everything she cares about. All right.
Do you believe that DEI could possibly not stand for diversity, equity, and didn't earn it, but can stand for actual diversity, that diversity of abilities? When you go into a job or to a school, they don't just ask for your SAT score. They ask what kind of clubs you were into. They ask you to submit an essay. They are a holistic academic review. So why do you think it didn't?
Instead of holistic, so holistic means you're taking every single aspect into account, every type of factor, attribute. So if this person's from a poor family and they have really good people skills, but they have a lower test score, we can use the people skills and their disadvantaged background to say they might be a better candidate than someone else who just has another high test score because they had SAT tutors. What's that word? SAT tutors is what I'm looking for. I almost said Hooters. SAT Hooters. There is no SAT testing in Hooters that I know of. Maybe I think Hooters is closing down, right? Maybe they could do SATs in Hooters. But yeah, it was. God, I hate seeing this. I hate seeing this conversation be had like this, man. I feel bad for her because he's gonna pull some shit out.
It means didn't earn it. If maybe they got a less SAT score, but
I was gonna say holistic. You should probably just say equal opportunity or like more merit, not merit based. They co-opted that, but I think holistic. You have to kind of pound that point home more.
Them as a person are just more well-rounded than the person who had all these tutors but did nothing outside of it.
What? Yeah. Tell me about. Do you know anything about the Students for Fair Admission case, the Supreme Court case at Harvard?
I would love to hear about it.
Yeah. So basically, at Harvard, Asian and white students, they basically got 200 to 400 points knocked off of their score versus black and Hispanic students. So it was disenfranchising white and Asian students. So if you support DEI, let's say you're in charge. Do you think that we should have all test scores be weighed the same? Or do you think that certain ethnic groups should get certain points because of their race?
Okay, so the answer here is I do not believe you should get points because of your race, but I do think we should take into account what people go through. And you do have to be political here. Bring up rural white people. Bring up those who served. Okay, bring up anyone who lives with a disability. If someone goes through a really poor area, shitty background, they're able to work through it, single mom, growing up in poverty, if they're able to work a job in high school and get a 1300 SAT score, I would rather that person in many scenarios. I'd rather that person over another preppy kid that has a 1450 SAT score. So the correct response is probably something like I just said, but it's really hard because, this is a whole thing about litigating DEI versus affirmative action and they think it's the same thing. Yeah.
I believe that we should acknowledge the fact that certain students have a different starting point. And
That's
I would
good.
love to give everybody the opportunity to
So
get
how
into
many
school.
points should a black student get over a white student in admissions?
I think that SAT scores and points shouldn't be the only thing referenced.
But you have to answer the question because the status quo...
But it's not that black and white.
It is. So it is because that's why affirmative action was struck down by the
Affirmative action is not DEI again. So affirmative action, the case would say you cannot give someone bonus points because of their race, only because of their race. DEI is not giving bonus points. They have another set of mechanisms they can use to accept a student or not. So like Charlie Kirk here is making her stay on the race point, but again, like we said before, this can be for poverty, disabilities. This could be for someone who served. This could be for so many different things. Why you would want someone from a more diverse background, and that could include again, white people from different backgrounds.
The Supreme
But
Court.
we're not talking about affirmative action. We're talking about DEI.
DEI is an
Okay, that's
outgrowth.
good.
Affirmative action is an outgrowth of DEI and vice versa.
They use this in a really cute way. So DEI and affirmative action is the same thing because they grow from each other. Just like CRT, just like when they said that the 2-year-olds are learning CRT in pre-K. All right. Well, actually, if you talk about racism at all, any type of anti-racism, it means CRT, which is like evil. Back when they used CRT, and that CRT fear mongering didn't really work. That's a cute little game they play.
But let me give you another example of DEI. Do you think if I say to a group, let's say of Hispanic and black people, if I say you people, is that a microaggression?
Say that again. I'm so sorry.
If I was talking to a group of Hispanic or black people and I happen to say you people,
Okay, really quick. I'm sorry for pausing so much, but Charlie Kirk is the person bringing up race, okay, and microaggressions. Remember the term woke right in the bad way they use the word woke, okay? Think about it. Charlie Kirk is forcing the conversation to not be about what she said about generational wealth and about your family background and how that determines your test scores and how SATs are a bad way to decide who goes to college, which I know many people, working class people, probably conservatives too, that would agree SAT scores are a really dumb way to decide this. At least SAT scores alone is a dumb way to decide this. But instead of talking about the real things, the concrete facts of the world, these variables that actually matter, Charlie Kirk is going to keep on pivoting back to microaggressions and racism and culture war and social war because Charlie Kirk cannot engage with any facts at all.
is that a microaggression?
I would think so, yes.
Okay, I think that's insane.
Why?
Because it's not a microaggression or racism to call any group of people you people. That's DEI in practice. So you guys might know about the group of clowns in the circus group of the Dean on F America thing.
Wait. Saying, and by the way, Dean on F America thing, that is really cringe. That's a really cringe story. I should be famous instead of them because they are not good representatives for this current time. But anyways, like saying that microaggressions. Oh, that's why you brought up microaggressions, to pivot back to the Dean thing, to the tour they were doing with Dean and Parker from TikTok. There was a thing where like a leader of a pack, she was organizing this Un-F America tour where they'd follow Charlie Kirk around, and like these little TikTok debaters would go in and like try to debate him and run their own like tables like TPUSA does, like Charlie Kirk's org does. And I guess the lead organizer from that got like kicked out because of a microaggression, or like they completely excommunicated her over a perceived microaggression. I don't know the exact story because I watched it a few times. It's hard to see what they're pointing out exactly. Which like you could use, it's such a dumb story. Obviously, if you say, for example, hey, look, there's a guy over there. There's a bunch of guys here. Oh, but there's one black guy. Or I've heard people talk about like there's kids at a water park. Like, oh, there's so many kids here. Oh, and there's like one black kid. Like in those statements, you are obviously separating those groups in your head of kid versus black kid. Black kid being a different thing to you because you are either not used to seeing black kids or whatever else it might be. But you people, we have well-natured, safe, non-violent people here in the suburbs. But then you people came in, and it just happens to be a black family who has not done anything. Like that's obviously a microaggression. But I think we should stop calling it a microaggression. Just call it being a dick, okay? Just call it being a dick. Stop using gay. Stop using gay words like microaggression. Call it being a dick, okay?
They fell apart in 1 week because one black woman called Dean and Parker racist because they were associated with a woman who called a group of black women you people, and they said you did not recognize microaggression. That's DEI in practice, where you could lose your entire job and your career for one misstatement. And you just showed it to me Like, you think that's a microaggression to say "you people" to a group of Hispanic and Black people? We should not be policing the speech of people.
Context matters.
Instead, we should...
None of this is about speech. It's about test scores and college admissions.
Be caring about one thing, and that's merit and merit only when we put together our institutions.
But if you base it on meritocracy, like I said, you're initially bringing in wealthy people who have these tutors but aren't well-rounded.
So what? That doesn't mean anything. Yes, the degree of how good your parents are matter. Yes. If you have good parents, you get something that people with bad parents don't get. That's applicable beyond college.
But with the people who score higher, let's say they didn't do anything.
Do you see how dumb that argument was from Charlie Kirk? When Charlie Kirk needs to comment on the actual argument, do you see how stupid and void of any substance that was? Well, yeah, people with good parents might have things that the people with bad parents don't have. Yeah, dumbass. The conversation's about if there's a kid who's overperforming based on their home life growing up versus a kid who's just doing how they're supposed to do from a really good home life growing up, then how do we make sure that really good working class kids that have worked their asses off are not abandoned in the process of higher education or any opportunity for professional development or any type of promotion? And this can be in any field. It does not need to be academic. Obviously, the conversation is about how can we make sure that merit is truly rewarded. But the one time Charlie Kirk talks about the actual question, he sounds like the biggest doofus, the biggest weenie, and perhaps the biggest toe fungus imaginable.
They are less likely to be able to take on challenges than the people who... Why wouldn't it matter?
Because
as
inherently
an employer,
you are penalizing those with good parents. The only way you can make this work...
You're not penalizing
Yes, you are.
them. No, you're not.
You're not penalizing them. You're not penalizing them because if you say, for example, there's a 100-meter dash and you're all running the same race, if you're going to claim we're in a meritocracy, guys. Everyone has a chance to be successful. And if you are successful, you get all this money and all these resources and you get all these accolades like, oh, you are the person who got first place. But little Johnny... all right, he has, let's see, exactly 100 meters to run. But then other kids have 120 meters to run, 150. Some kids have to run 200 meters. Some kids need to run a mile to get to the same place. Or the whole born on third thing. If you're born on third base, only one base to get home. If we're talking about meritocracy, you can either say meritocracy matters and care about this topic, or say you don't care about meritocracy. And if you're damned to a poor family, then F off, you have no chance of success because the guy with the rich parents is going to have connections, money, tutoring, whatever they want. All right? And Charlie Kirk hates poor white people. Charlie Kirk despises poor white people. Poor white people are like cattle that Charlie Kirk can herd around into the ballot to cast their ballots to make sure that his political side wins. He despises you. I know he didn't go to college, but he despises you.
Not true. It is the only way we see this. In order to elevate equity, you must compromise excellence. And that's fine if that's your position, because there's only so many spots, there's only so many places, and if you have a lot of qualified people and you want to try to get not as qualified people, you have to prevent the qualified people and elevate the unqualified people. That's what the students are...
Oh, I wanna talk to this guy so bad, bro. I want to talk to this overgrown toenail. Holy crap, it'd be such an easy conversation, dude. Get me to sit down with him. It'd be such an easy conversation. His arguments are so flimsy and so stupid. Oh my god, dude. Why are these Parker Dean? Why are they getting famous, bro? Like, holy crap, these are such easy arguments. Oh, this is what we get when the liberal media only has commentators from freaking California and Massachusetts and New York. None of them have that real, oh man.
Fair admissions case showed us.
You're thinking that DEI is versus excellence? I think DEI is for excellence.
Got it. Show me one institution that got better the more it embraced DEI.
Yeah, and like that question right there, he knows he's being slimy. Again, you cannot answer that question. There's no way to come up on the spot with one institution that did better. And by the way, like Harvard, for example, Harvard's being attacked. Harvard's being attacked for having DEI right now, and Trump wants to take away the research funding. Harvard is the #1 cancer research institution, probably globally. All right, the institutions in the U.S., our higher education is a pinnacle of our economy. It's a pinnacle of everything we do. Of our military, of our ability to make life-saving treatments, medical treatments. Like, all of these higher institutions that have done all these amazing points of research that we benefit from every day, okay, they have DEI. Okay, they have DEI. So maybe it's not an impossible question. Oh, man, I want to get it. I want to get him.
one institution that got better that embraced DEI.
That got smarter, more competitive, leaner, more productive, and that was better than it
Leaner,
was
more
10 years ago.
productive, better.
Are our airports more efficient? Are we landing planes better? Are our
oh man, dude, that's such a good dunk. Oh, we had 15 years since we had a black president. We had no plane crashes. We got a black president. All right, no plane crashes for 15 years. We have Donald Trump part 2, and there's plane crashes again. All right, passenger crashes with civilians dying for the first time in 15 years. Dude, it's such an easy dunk.
airlines better? Is our government better? Is our schools better? Is our universities better? Show me one example. Is our public health authorities better? Show me one institution that's embraced DEI that has become better, more excellent than it was 20 years ago. It doesn't exist. DEI will destroy
It does
an
not
institution
exist.
from within.
It destroys
Let me ask you
institutions. It
another
destroys
question.
them. Yes.
When COVID happened, they removed the SAT scores, yet the graduation rates for Harvard were still the same. Do you think that because of... Sorry. With that being said, since ACT wasn't even considered, schools are accepting people with the potential to succeed. Because once you get in, you're still going off the same merit as everybody else.
A lot of people drop out that are, the problem with Harvard is that they now have professors, the ton of them that are saying they have to retake courses and remedial courses because these kids should never be here in the first place. And they happen to be a lot of black and Hispanic kids that were let in strictly because of the color of their skin. So I guess my question is, do you care about the racial makeup of a college?
The racial makeup of a college?
Like if a college was all white or all Asian, would that bother you?
If we are in the middle of Philadelphia and the college has only white students, yes, that would bother me. Yes, because obviously we are cherry picking our admissions. The point of DEI was if you have an institution in a black area or whatever else, let's say you have Comcast, which is a big company in Philadelphia, and every employee there is white, and you're in Philadelphia, and the population there is like 50% black or whatever it is. And you have 0 black employees after all these years of, people saying, well, they just hire all the black people, DEI 2020, blah, blah, blah. If those institutions have a demographic makeup that do not represent the population at all, and it just happens that all the employees are best friends with the CEO and they're all white, then yeah, that would be a thing that you look at. But all the DEI says is that we should probably see what barriers are here. Is it because the population of black people there's no good workers at all? Or is it because we are not doing a good job to reach out to people to make sure we have good applicants? And at the very pinnacle of this, DEI allows you to make sure you remove barriers so you get the best and brightest from every single community, regardless of race, regardless of skin color in general, regardless of culture, regardless of gender, regardless if they served, if they have a disability, whatever it is, okay? That's the point, or sexuality. That's the point of DEI, is to make sure there's equal opportunity, that we are not having barriers up. It's not saying we're going to give a free pass. That's not happening at all. And they won their little affirmative action case, which affirmative action is not the best way to do this if you want to reverse historical discrimination. But what Charlie Kirk says here is so fake and fraudulent and fabricated on purpose for his propaganda machine. And it's so disgusting to watch, how he puts these students in these positions and uses them for clicks and to push his agenda and to profit off of. It is crazy.
I think it would stop them from being able to see different perspectives and thus improve their systems and improve the quality of their operations.
But why is diversity only skin color? Can't a bunch of white people also disagree?
Well, think of it this way. If I like my mom went to the hospital or something, and...
Obviously every group matters, but like Fortune 500 CEOs are still 90% white men. Like straight white men are 90% of Fortune 500 CEOs. Is that because straight white men are 90% of the talent pool? They make up 90% of those who are deserving to be CEOs of companies, or is it because of historical things, legacy admissions, legacy hiring, whatever it might be? Like there's a reason our society is geared in certain ways. But Charlie Kirk's strategy is to make the angry, poor whites mad at, people of color from all backgrounds. So if you see a black person get a college degree and make money, it's like, oh, look at you, white working class guy. You're a white guy, right? They hate you. They have degrees, now they're making all this money. Meanwhile, that white guy won't get mad at Charlie Kirk's funders, okay? Charlie Kirk's goal is to make us fight our neighbors, make us fight other people who might not look like us or talk like us or whatever it might be. And Charlie Kirk wants us to fight each other because he gets paid for it. And all the people that pay him never get the energy from us because we're obsessed with culture war topics and social war topics.
Let's say her English is good, but her Spanish isn't. Oh, her Spanish is good, but the English not so much, right? It would help that if a person who is Hispanic or no Spanish would be the one helping her. She'd feel more comfortable with that person because she understands and relates.
And like she's using arguments that you would use to maybe this would be convincing to someone who's a decent person who cares about how others are experiencing life and you care about making the world better for everyone. But in this audience, and I feel bad for her again, it's not her fault at all. But in this audience, you got to come with hard hitting like you have to just be a propagandist. You have to be a counter propagandist to what Charlie Kirk is doing because that's what he's doing. He has a shirt on that says "not illegal." Like these are people that want to make the Hunger Games, but with immigrants. Like literally, Kristi Noem right now, the Barbie doll playing dress up every single day. The rumors of her designing a reality TV show where immigrants fight each other and do challenges to get a Mr. Beast games to be to get a citizenship. That's a very barbaric thing. And I predicted already that we're going to have game shows like that eventually. Not this quick. But don't be surprised if in the next 30 years, if we keep going down the MAGA path, we're going to have immigrants fighting to the death. I hope you know that. In Coliseum-like settings, again. I guarantee you. And if someone says I'm crazy now, you would have said I'm crazy. You would have said I'm crazy months ago if I would have said, and I never even imagined, by the way, I never imagined right now that Kristi Noem would be talking about a game show where immigrants fight each other to be citizens. Okay, so we are not far from that, I promise.
Okay, I mean, yeah, you're in America. You should learn English. I don't know what to tell you, but
No, she is.
Good. I mean, I'm not trying to be insensitive or cruel.
English, but
yeah,
she
look,
would rather be with a Hispanic nurse versus one that doesn't, so she could speak comfortably.
As an organization, you must prioritize something. We think that excellence should be we must have an uncompromising pursuit and commitment to excellence.
Excellence, 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 excellence. Okay, that big word, excellence. Why did he bring up excellence? She did not. Okay, remember, she brought up how to be a good person. He brought up excellence because, like, of course, you cannot be excellent if you do not speak perfect English, if you're not perfectly white, or if you don't fully acclimate to whatever culture Charlie Kirk wants you to belong to. You can have excellence in a lot of different ways. America benefits from accepting excellence from all different cultures because we get researchers from all countries. We get, if you look at the Olympics, we get athletes from all these different countries, all these different cultures, and they do different sports, and it makes America great. Okay, but Charlie Kirk, excellence, excellence. How qualified is Pete Hegseth? He's a huge mess over his prior Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin. Like, it's just crazy. Crazy, but Lloyd Austin was DEI because he's black, so.
And not equity. And we believe the more that we embrace this kind of culture of mediocrity, excellence will slip. And again, I could go through, at the core, DEI wants a lot of things, including racial quotas. We don't believe in racial quotas. Our best institutions would...
Racial quotas are not DEI. I've been inside DEI. Okay, I've seen DEI. It's not quotas. Quotas are a different thing.
Fall apart with racial quotas. We want excellence quotas, and the best and the ones that earned it to be able to...
Excellence quotas. The number one way to predict someone in power is to see who they're friends with. In colleges, for example, California, when affirmative action became illegal with the Supreme Court's ruling on affirmative action, once affirmative action was gone, you could not be affirmatively actionable anymore. Now they decided to go after legacy admissions. So if you have a rich parent, you can't just get in because you're a legacy. You're not guaranteed just to get in because your parent went to that school. It's such a complicated conversation. I feel like these debates are very difficult because the people having these debates on the Republican side are very, very bad faith, and they probably do just not like other cultures in America. If you really... if you can dissect what they really mean by what they're talking about, for real. And that does not mean casual Republicans, because there's a lot of casual Republicans who are not Charlie Kirk, Christian nationalist theocrats, who just don't engage in politics that much, and I feel bad for them. But if you are like that, make sure you call in. Thank you for watching. Drop a like, subscribe. Hello. Teresa, thank you so much. I didn't respond because I was recording this. I was recording this. Teresa Ram, thank you. Thank you for $20. Thank you, really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, I'll do calls if there's anyone calling. I assume there are people calling because whenever a race comes up, they get rowdy down there for real. Yep, I was right. Look at this, a big call list trying to call in. All right, the phone lines are open again for you, heathens. Chill. Give me a second to refresh it. God, what are y'all doing, brother? I'm gonna do another stream too. You don't know the half of the abuse. You don't know the half of the abuse. Hello.
Oh, 1 second. How's it going?
Going
Why would
good,
you
how
say
are you?
Donald Trump hates America?
Because I have no reason to believe he does not hate America.
Like getting rid of people that we have no reason to have here in the first place?
No, like using the White House for his crypto scam to profit from the White House and to get
I like
money
how you're
from Chinese
deflecting
billionaires.
from what I like how you deflected from what I
I
said
gave you
to
my
something
example for
else.
why Trump does not like America, because
I
he's
asked
profiting
you
from the
for
White
it.
House.
Okay. Cryptocurrency, is he using the federal dollars for crypto?
He's using the White House and pressuring companies using the power of the presidency.
Pressuring? Is he forcing them by like the hand of God, putting a gun to their head? Are they able to make other decisions?
No. So tariffs are really funny because you can beg for exemptions, and one way to beg for exemptions is to donate to Trump through his cryptocurrency and to make him profit. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just say that this is going to be able to reimburse for everything that he used to be able to become president, which I wouldn't find this immoral. And tariffs, I would just say by themselves are decent because we don't have a moral obligation to protect the trade for everyone else.
Tariffs are killing our trade. It's not really protecting anyone else's. Tariffs are like doing tariffs hurts the
Okay,
American economy, so it taxes
if we're
us.
talking tariffs, so technically this is going to be foreign companies too trying to import stuff into the United States. Is this not?
Whoever they are importing to pays the tariff. That's how they work when you sign the tariff form.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm going to say instead of importing it from other countries and flooding our market, let's just say in this hypothetical, you have a country and I have a country, and I'm importing, and let's just say epinephrine. You know what that is used for?
You say epinephrine?
Yep.
Like EpiPen?
Yep. So if I am able to import at a cheaper cost than you and be able to flood your market with my product and you aren't able to keep up with it, and then at some point, what do you think your economy is going to do when it comes to that situation? Do you think you're going to still make the product, or do you think that you would go away from that product and go into something else?
If you were tariffing for one exact product and doing like tax cuts and subsidies, that's a completely different conversation, though. Like, I mean,
Wait,
Trump's
no,
tariffs are not what you're saying.
No, tariffs are going to be taxing any type of products coming in. So in this situation, if in your country I'm able to produce goods at a cheaper cost than you and flood your market with it, this is the same situation that is taking place. If we look at the tariffs, this is going to be on goods coming from other countries. This is why I brought it back to the situation. If you own a country and I own a country, and I'm able to make the products cheaper than you and flood your market, what would you use your money in that case since you're not able to beat my cost?
Flooding our markets, see, this is complicated because we're not talking about, like, if you look at America being a very rich consumer economy versus, like, Vietnam or Cambodia, we'd have to talk about, like, a particular product that I actually do know more information about.
Yeah, this is why I just gave the simple one of epinephrine. Because if I'm able to flood
Well,
your
EpiPens
economy,
being flooded in America with EpiPens would be a good thing for our prices for EpiPens. It would be a good thing.
okay, so, but then you'd be relying on my country making epinephrine for you. Do you disagree
Yeah,
with
I mean
this?
but one of the issues right now we
Okay,
have is
wait,
with like
hold up a
modern
second.
modern
Just
development,
stay on one point.
we rely on other countries. We're going to rely on Canada or Mexico. There's no way America can be self-sufficient
Wait,
at this level.
let's stay on this point. So if I'm able to flood your market and then something happens between us, let's just say a bad term, and then I stop producing that for your country. Yes, you can go to another location, but in that time period when you're looking for another location to be able to buy from, what is happening to the people inside of your country?
You are making an argument for protecting domestic manufacturing or bolstering it, not about tariffs. Tariffs do not accomplish that goal. This is a different debate.
Yeah,
that
tariffs
you wanna
are.
have.
Yeah, wait. Tariffs are going to be actively and like helping the federal government because this is going to be more money that we can be able to get put into the situation, so we can maybe find research that can make the lower the cost, or at the same time for us to have other closer allies because money can make a lot of other people more on our side. This is why I'm saying tariffs are initially good because if someone's actively flooding your market, we can see how much products do we typically get from China yearly.
The issue with what this conversation entails is that a 10% across the board tariff is not going to influence any companies to move anything to America. That's not how this is going to work. It's not how it ever worked. You're talking about bringing back manufacturing in America. Like a 10% tariff, like on everything coming into America, is not going to encourage manufacturing. I'd even argue the 100% tariff will not do it because if companies have that much of
Wait,
a price shock, they're not going to just do like a different 10-year investment for a supply chain. Move it back to America for what? So Trump can leave with unilateral tariffs that he himself takes care of.
how much money typically would the tariffs make? At 10% across the board for all the imported goods. How much do we get from China and other countries right now daily? We can look
I
at
don't know
the
what you
simple
mean by
number.
make. Where do you think the money's coming from?
Yeah, I would just say that the money that we're actively doing this is going to be the like businesses where they are outsourcing their goods and doing this at a cheaper cost, which this is going to be flooding our market with certain products, which could very much flood our market until there's a situation that happens where like if their society crashes and then we do not have the supply that we need.
Okay, if you
Supply
want to
and
bring back, okay,
demand.
I'll tell you how this actually works. If you want to bring back any type of manufacturing to America, you need to provide subsidies. You need to provide a level,
I disagree.
actual policy or tax credits on the American side. Tariffs are not going to, and especially unilateral tariffs are not going to move any manufacturing back to America. Do you know why?
I disagree.
How many years do you think it takes to build one factory?
It depends on the factory.
For any factory, for anything we would need for national defense. How long? For semiconductors in America?
For just any type of thing. So we can just go with like a gun. This would only take like a year to 2 years.
Most factories will take 3 to 5 years. Entire supply chains take around 10 years, and these investments are made in groups of 5 or
Wait,
10.
you just said name a factory. I gave you one gun, a gun factory. How long does it take to be able to have a gun factory?
We make
up and
enough
going?
weapons in America. If you want to talk about semiconductors and
Wait,
chips
hold up,
and
hold
rare
up.
earth
This
minerals.
is another situation.
Minerals or
Because when
metals.
we're talking, yeah, no, because when we're talking about like the foreign coming into the situation, like the goods, supply and demand, if we're able to flood the market with an outside source where you're able to get a higher demand from it into our country, and you flood it, and we rely on that a lot more, and then there's a turmoil, what would happen to that like item?
I don't know what the hell you're saying. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so epinephrine. Let's just keep this simple for you. If I am selling epinephrine in your country at a lower cost than you can make it, right? What would you do with your epinephrine?
I don't know what you do.
What would you do? Just answer the hypothetical.
I don't know.
You're not going to engage?
No, why would I engage, bro? Like, you have no facts on your side about this. You're talking with authority.
Yeah,
When you're
I have
talking with like
facts.
zero, you're talking outside of every single piece of information we have about the economy. We have surveys from
Wait,
top companies, by the way. We have surveys from these same companies that for chips and electronics and semiconductors, and most of them are going to freeze their assets or just pause investments for the next 4 years if Trump does these tariffs, by the way. That's what the actual surveys
yeah,
say. That's what the actual business movements say.
yeah, and even with the business move is stopping this, they're still importing goods from outside of the country into the United States. How much money has been going into the federal
If
economy?
you want to
Where,
increase taxes on working class people, you could own that, but don't act like
wait,
other countries are paying for it.
Wait, hold up a second. When I'm saying this, have I said that other countries are, or have I always said that the business person that is actively outsourcing
The
their
American
products?
people are going to pay the tariffs, small businesses especially.
I'm going to say that the businesses are.
Yeah, and what are they going to do with these transactions? What do they do with sales taxes?
Yeah, I would just say that they're going to try to increase it, and if you don't like it in that location, go to like a farmer's market or go to another location where you can get the goods
What
at a
happens
cheaper
in supply
demand.
and demand if all these products increase in price that are imported?
What's going to happen if it's
Yes.
increased? Then we would go back to what we did, kind of like with the situation I brought to you about the
If
epinephrine.
the imported goods increase in price, what happens to the American-made goods? American-made goods.
Yeah, I would just say that it's going to be about the same or lower.
So the American-made goods will be more expensive because the
No, I
tariff goods are
disagree.
more expensive. That's how it works. That's how supply and demand
Wait,
works. That's how
no,
it
the
works in the first
tariffs.
Trump term.
Wait, you're saying this wrong because the tariffs are going to be from the importing of being able to have stuff from outside of the country. When it comes to the situation, if you make it inside of your country, then you don't have to worry about it.
Do you realize that if you make something in America, you still need supplies from global suppliers, right? We can't
You
make
can also
everything in
get
America to supply America. That's impossible. We don't have the
wait,
numbers in
you
America to even provide 1/10 of our resources without
wait.
trade.
How much resources do we have in the United States?
I don't know how much resources. If you look at any data set for any of these supply chains, we cannot produce it solely in the
What's the
U.S.
big
There's no economically viable route for it.
what is the biggest resources the United States has?
What is it?
metal, wood, and at the same time oil. Do you disagree with this?
Not necessarily.
Not necessary. Okay, cool. So if I created a wood factory, would I get taxed if at a higher percentage if I'm actively selling wood versus someone that imports wood? This is going to be a situation where it's going to be cheaper.
No, it would not be. It would still not be
Why?
cheaper. Because of American labor and American resources are not high enough for that. It would also cut off, so like total lumber supply, for example, if we are going to cut off the outside markets for lumber, we don't have lumber coming in from Russia or Canada or any other country, American lumber is going to shoot through the roof. We're going to have supply shortages. We'll have shortages at that
Wait, it
point.
wouldn't
The
be
economy will crash. Yeah.
supply shortages.
It's whenever there's
We
price
would have more
controls.
factories.
But this is why your communistic price controls never work, because you
Yeah,
drive
I'm
up
not
the
a
prices,
communist.
businesses don't, but you're advocating for communistic policies, price
I
controls,
disagree with
and
this.
you ruin the free market, and then
Communistic-
businesses just don't participate. There's going to be supply shortages if you completely cut off all trade. Yeah, this is communism. This is
Wait,
communist
no, free
policy.
market. Wait, free market. If you want to be part of the market, you can.
Yeah, these
I
are
would
price
just have
controls. Yeah,
wait,
these are still price
wait,
controls.
Wait, but communist market or a communist system, if we look at Stalin doesn't believe in money in the market in the first place.
Communism in terms of China, or communism in terms of
Okay, so
Soviet
then that
Union,
wouldn't
and
be
then also let's
that
see,
wouldn't be
communism in terms of
communism unless if
Cuba.
we're talking about
Actually, no, yeah,
1919.
price controls. Price controls are bad. Yeah.
Price control's bad?
Yeah, price controls are bad. Price controls, especially on tariffs. Yeah.
Oh, so if I have epinephrine and the price control, the max I can spend for it is going to be $2. Is that bad?
No. So like, if you look at every product in America, you look at every drug or pharmaceutical. If you want to talk about like, hey, how do we get the prices down? You don't just say we're going to put a 10% tax on everything, or like one number for everything. You would have to, you'd go product by product and understand, okay, well, what's the supply? What does the supply chain look like? What can the business handle? And you do negotiations per product. That's why trade deals usually take 5 to 10 years for
Yeah, I
really,
would
really
disagree.
big trade
It
deals.
should just be a flat rate across the board.
Well, that's just really stupid. I mean, if you want to do
Wait,
stupid
why is
policies,
that really
that's fine.
stupid?
Because every single product has a different supply chain and different supply in general. You can't just have one size fits all with the economy. Like,
Yeah, 10%.
why are we tariffing coffee?
Oh wait, sorry, I put you on mute. Hold on. So if you have something across the board, 10% of what the product's worth, or the 10% of the action of whatever it is, let's just say phones, 10% of how much that phone is worth, this is going to be the tariff that you have to pay to bring that phone in. This is going to be a good set flat, so no one can say, oh, this is too much or this is too little.
Why are
Because when it
tariffs on phones the same as tariffs on coffee?
Yeah, I would just say that this is a flat, this is going to be 10% of the product.
Okay, why is there a 10% tax on coffee?
Why?
Yes.
Because we can be able to produce coffee in the United States.
There you go. Because coffee is one of the easiest dunks ever. Because even if you took every part of the United States that could produce coffee and you produce coffee with it, you cannot provide even 1/10 or even 5% of our coffee supply.
Yeah, I would like a source for that.
In Hawaii is like the only place you can reliably grow it, because it's the climate is good enough there for daily
Hawaii,
temperatures.
Florida, Texas. We could talk about California in certain locations.
It's
Oregon,
not. No, it's not. Okay, actually, no. It's experimental in Florida. It's experimental in California. The climate there is not working for coffee. So that one
Yeah, I
point
would like a
alone
source for
is
that.
this is really defeating.
Wait,
Okay, I
wait,
can find a source for you.
Wait, hold up. Yeah, I would like a source. And I wonder, have you found an argument for my causal obligation yet?
Everything you're saying right now is debunked by every liberal, communist, conservative economist in the world. So I mean, it's hard for me to respond
Yeah,
to things
just
that
give
make
me
zero
one
sense
source.
at all. Okay, 1 second. Oh, look at that. Sage brush coffee. Look at that. The successes and failures of growing coffee in America. Awesome.
Okay, let me pull this up real quick. You said sage, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to find data on it because that's just a coffee blog.
Yeah, because we can look at coffee in the United States, NCA. This is something that could be done, providing jobs and supports the economy and allowing the people to enjoy coffee, popular brewing. We could also look at the situation of the economic of the coffee industry. This is something from the National Coffee Association. Being able to make coffee in the United States, it depends on what type of coffee bean that you want to use. There's multiple sources saying that we can be able to do this in the United
So currently America consumes 3 billion pounds of coffee per year, according to the USDA. The U.S. production is less than 1 million pounds per year. Almost all of it comes from Hawaii, tiny amount from Puerto Rico, and very small forms in California. And a lot of it is just there's not room to build. If they're producing currently 0.05%, there's zero chance America could become self-sufficient with coffee.
Yeah, what source is saying this?
The economic impact report. I mean, just from in terms of mathematical numbers and total land area where we can grow the coffee that's available in these in these states. It's just like it's hard talking to someone like you because it's so logically broken. But I don't know if you're purposely lying.
I'm not logically.
Yeah, you are because you know.
Wait.
Like okay, do you think 1 million and 3 billion? How do you think we could? How many multitudes do we have to like increase our coffee supply?
Yeah, we would have to increase it by a lot. I would just say that this is going to be where more private businesses can be able to go into it, which I said I'm a libertarian, which if more private business...
You're a libertarian?
Yep. And
that's why you're so stupid. Holy shit, that's why you're so stupid. Okay, at maximum feasible capacity, USDA, maximum capacity, even if we tried to increase it, it'd be up to 1 or 2% for coffee. Even if we took every place in America, it's 1 to 2% coffee according to the USDA again. So like the idea, so do you admit that we cannot become self-sufficient with coffee in America? We'd have to cut down our consumption.
Yeah, I would
by
have to
98%.
read the source. I've already given you multiple sources. Let me read it real quick. What was the name of the source?
It's a USDA report. Okay, I'm done, bro. I'm not doing it. I'm talking to someone else. I can't do it. Someone else call in. I'm not going through a bunch of sources on the most... Like, that's so painful. It's one of the most basic things ever. You don't expect to have to talk to someone about why we cannot produce 3 billion pounds of coffee in America. Like, I mean, if you don't... Like, I don't even have a good analogy, bro. I mean, we could just stop having coffee in America. It's not a debate. You're just very stupid. It's not a debate at all. Like, there's no logical way you could even imagine that to be feasible at all, but you're asking for a source for it. Like, that is pure autism. Like, I'm not doing that, bro. Not doing that. That's so cringe. Like, if you want to be purely autistic, that's fine, but I'm not doing that. I mean... Yeah, we have very few locations with the climate to grow coffee. It's like, sources. Okay, wait, Alright, let's try doing a new stream for the algorithm. Hopefully we get some motion here. Alright, I'm gonna restart this and do a new stream. You can refresh the channel, get some new callers. I have no callers waiting, so we gotta refresh it. Maybe we'll do another Charlie Kirk reaction. Did Exodus support abortion? Let's see what's here. Wait. I gotta go bathroom quick. I'm restarting my stream and going bathroom, okay? See you guys in a second. Restart it, refresh it.